Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shriyuta-padakamalam Shri-Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri-Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitantam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Tamo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radhakanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarorbhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nana Shastra Vicharanaikarnipuno Sadharma Sanstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nande Namattaliko Bande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you once again to Bhakti-sastri classes. We are studying Nectar of Devotion. We had a gap of 2 weeks. So we are resuming again the sessions, and in 2 to 3 sessions this unit shall get completed. Then you will have your exams. I hope you utilize the time for completing your pending assignments, quizzes, preparation for exam. Today we'll enter into chapter 15 of Nectar of Devotion, which sets the beginning of discussion on Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So far, till chapter 14, we were discussing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. In the last chapter, Rup Goswami discussed the qualifications for Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So he said that Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti does not depend on knowledge, it doesn't depend on renunciation, it doesn't depend on Varnashrama, it doesn't depend on others dharmas or religious um, credits. So now we come to Raganuga. Before we go to Raga Nuga, one thing we should know that practicing Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti itself is quite an elevated stage. Hmm. People may say Vaidhi means, oh, it's just normal, it is low level. But actually, if we properly study Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu and Hari Bhakti Vilasa, these two scriptures, we'll understand that Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti is not also a cup of tea for many people. Hmm. Even those who are practicing sadhakas, they don't practice Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti also properly or perfectly. Hmm, right? We already studied. Rup Goswami says so many things one should be doing, but we ourselves fail to observe all those duties of a Vaishnava, of a Vedic sadhan bhakta. So Vedic sadhan bhakti is not a joke. It's not a small thing. That itself is quite elevated. Then comes Raga Nuga. So Raga Nuga must be then very, very exalted. Correct. When we talk about Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, we should know that the Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti in the path of Gaudiya Vaishnavism is not the same as Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti on the path propagated by Sri Sampradaya. Hmm. The term used is the same, but the meaning is not the same. Right. Their path is pure Vaidhi. Pure Vaidhi means it's full Vaidhi. Hmm. Even the path promoted by Sri Madhvacharya is full Vaidhi, fully, completely Vaidhi. When you talk about Gaudiya Vaishnavism, actually, in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the path is pure rag. There's nothing shorter than that, lesser than that. It is pure, yeah, pure rag. However, because our acharyas know that conditioned souls are not qualified to come to that state of pure rag immediately. Therefore, to come to that pure rag, Vaidhi sadhan bhakti is given as a stepping stone. You are understanding? For people who are following Sri Sampradaya or let's say even Madhvacharya, for them, Vaidhi sadhan bhakti is the beginning, Vaidhi sadhan bhakti is the end. But for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, actually Raga Sadhan or Raga Nuga is actual the path. That's the main path. Vaidhi path is not the path given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raga Marg is the path given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But because our acharyas, they see that the conditioned souls without any background of bhakti or coming from such poor sanskars, they may not immediately take to the path of raga. They have given Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti as a stepping stone. That by practicing Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, at least you purify yourself to a certain extent. At least you become free from mundane, you know, qualities. You're understanding? Hmm? But the goal is raga. Rag is the basis. However, I'm not ready for it. So therefore, Vaidhi is given as a preparatory ground. You prepare yourself. Just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verse number 8. What does he say? In chapter 12, verse number 8, we studied 5 verses in chapter 12, talking about different levels of bhakti. So, what was the verse number 8? If you don't know the Sanskrit, at least tell me the English or what was in verse number 8. Uh, what was there? Krishna says in chapter 12, highest form of devotional service. One whose mind is completely always absorbed in me. Mama mana atatsva, right? My buddhi niveshaya. One whose intelligence is absorbed in me. Krishna says that is highest. Then Arjuna may say, one may not be able to do that. Then what does Krishna say in the next verse, 12.9? Abhyasa yoga yuktena. You do abhyasa. You do abhyas, practice, sadhan bhakti you do. Then someone may say, I cannot do sadhan bhakti also. Then Krishna says, okay, then you do nishkama karma. You work for me. Hmm? 12.8, 12.9, 12.10. Coming. gradually down, down, right? Little below. So therefore, because rag cannot be immediately accepted. Why rag cannot be immediately accepted? Because we are full of anarthas. So Vaidhi sadhan bhakti is given as a preparatory stage to get rid of anarthas. Prepare yourself for that. Hmm? You don't have a desire to love Krishna. You don't have a desire to please Krishna. What is Vaidhi sadhan bhakti? You practice developing that desire. That's Vaidhi sadhan bhakti. Now, some people, they will say, I already have that desire. Then that is your, what will you call that? That is your arrogance or impudence. Hmm. Because genuinely, those who have a desire, they will never say, I have the desire, right? Those who have will not say, I have. And those who don't have, when they say, we have, then that is arrogance. That is impudence, isn't it? So, acharyas, they give this path. Okay, you practice Vaidhi sadhana. Then after Vaidhi sadhana, then there is Raganuga sadhana bhakti. Okay. Hmm. Fine. So, what is Raganuga sadhana? Raganuga sadhana, we'll look at the definition now, given in chapter 15. So, it is said, Srila Rupa Goswami explains in this chapter two things. One is Ragatmika, and the other is Raganuga. These are two different words, Raga Atmika and Raga Nuga. Hmm? Raga Atmika means Raga Atmika, whose you can say Atmika means the soul, so whose complete self is made up of Raga, Raga Atmika. Hmm. That is found in whom? The residents of Raja. That bhakti is found in the residents of Raja. Find Raga Atmika. Example, example of Raga Atmikas. Uh,
Mother Yashoda,
Mother
gopis.
Yashoda, Babananda, the gopis, Ragatmika. Hmm? They are eternal residents of Raja and they have this natural, spontaneous love for Krishna. They don't have to learn bhakti. They already have it. They are perfect in it, right? They execute spontaneous loving devotional service. So the Gopas, the Gopis, Krishna's parents, all are called Ragatmika Bhaktas. Hmm? Virajantim abhivyaktam vrajavasi janadishu ragatmikam anushrita yasa raganuguchyate. So these personalities are called ragatmikas. Now someone who develops the desire to follow them, to follow in their footsteps, then that is called raganuga. Anuga means to follow. Ragatmika means those who already have it. Raganuga means those who want to have it. Those who want to follow behind. That is Raganuga. So, in order to explain Raganuga, Srila Rupa Goswami first of all explains Ragatmika. Hmm? Ragatmika Bhakti. Ishte Swarasiki Ragah Paramavishtata Bhavet Tanmayi Ya Bhavet Bhakti Satra Ragatmikodita. So, what is rag? Rag is defined as natural, intense, and spontaneous attraction for love. Natural, intense, spontaneous attraction for love. That's called ragatmika. Raga, you know. Actually, the word raga is also sometimes used in material um, relationships. The poets, they use this word raga. The raga means intense attachment. It's like, just like, uh, you have a white cloth, and then if you put a white cloth in a bucket of water, which has orange color, what will happen to the white cloth?
It will get
It
orange.
will, it will absorb the entire orange color and it will become orange, isn't it? Huh? So, rag is compared to that color. Fine. So, one's heart is very soft. It's like a sponge. And when that heart, you dip into the, let's say, liquid of spontaneous love for Krishna, then the heart will completely absorb that spontaneous love for Krishna attraction, isn't it? So one's heart will become completely like that. So rag is something like that. Very intense, natural attraction for Krishna. So one who has it is called Ragatmika Bhakta. And bhakti performed by such a bhakta is called Ragatmika Bhakti. Okay. Uh, Fine. We'll read a little bit. Um, let's look at some verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 22, verse number 154. So, there's something wrong with this Veda-based dot. Yes, okay. Okay, there's something wrong with the website. It's not opening.
Open for me, Prabhu.
We'll read from Nectar Devotion itself. Let's read the first paragraph. Spontaneous devotional service. Examples of spontaneous devotional service can easily be seen in Krishna's direct associates in Vrindavan. The spontaneous dealings of the residents of Vrindavan in relationship with Krishna are called Raga Ragatmika. You can actually correct this. This is not Raganuga. This is Ragatmika. Hmm? Srila Prabhupada in this chapter sometimes mixes the terms. Here it is not Raganuga. This is Ragatmika. Hmm? These beings don't have to learn anything about devotional service. They're already perfect in all regulative principles and have achieved the spontaneous loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, the cowherd boys, they have passed all tests of regulative principles in their previous lives And as a result, they are now elevated to the position of direct association with Krishna as his dear friends. The spontaneous attitude is called, again, you can correct it. This is not Raganuga, it is Ragatmika. Hmm? Sri Rupa Goswami has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something, while completely absorbed in thoughts of it, with an intense desire of love. Fine. So you see, Raganuga Bhakti is actually a very serious cultivation. Hmm. Uh, Someone who is influenced by mode of ignorance and passion cannot engage in Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti. Someone who is actually quite situated in mode of goodness can get into that kind of absorption. Has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction or something while completely absorbed in thoughts of it, with an intense desire of love. Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Raganuga can be, again, this is here, it is Ragatmika. Devotional service under the heading of Ragatmika can be further divided into two categories. One category is called sensual attraction, and the other is called relationship. Mm. If you write the Sanskrit terms, that will be much better. Here, you should say below sensual attraction, it is called, in English, Prabhupada translates this as sensual attraction, but actually in Sanskrit it is called kama rupa. And the French, in the next one, relationship, in Sanskrit it is called sambandha rupa. Kama rupa, sambandha rupa. In the spiritual world, the word kama has the same meaning as prema, right? In material world, the word kama has a different meaning. We say kama is opposite to prema. But in spiritual world, kama and prema have the same meaning.
So, Prabhuji, this Kama Rupa can be taken in Madhurya Rasa also. Can be called like that? No. This
You, you,
stage. Sensual
you,
attraction.
actually it is, but then still you should just say kama rupa.
Kama Rupa. Okay.
Kama rupa. And relationship is called sambandha rupa. Hmm. Fine. So ragatmika bhakti is of two types, kama rupa and sambandha rupa. So then raganuga will also be of two types. One which is following in the footsteps of kama rupa, another following in the footsteps of sambandha rupa, isn't it? So therefore, the two types of raganuga bhakti is kamanuga and sambandhanuga. Got it? Hmm? Right? Kamanuga and sambandhanuga. So here, now Rupa Goswami is giving us some examples to explain what is raganuga sadhana bhakti. Do we have such examples in the scriptures? So he's quoting two verses of Narad Muni spoken to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Mhm. Okay. That verse is 7:130. Srimad Bhagavatam 7:130. कामाद् द्वेषाद् भयात् स्नेहात् यथा भक्त्येश्वरे मनः आवेश्य तद् अहगम हित्वा भावस्तद्गतिं गताः गोपयः कामाद् भयात् कंसो द्वेषात् चैद्यादयो नृपः संबंधाद् वृष्णयः स्नेहाद् यूयं भक्त्या वयं विभो. I'll show those verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Hopefully this should open. It is opening 7:131 and 30. See, Kama dveshat bhayat snehat yatha bhakti ishware manah aveshya tad aham hitva bhavas tad gatim gatah. Many persons have attained liberation simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention and giving up sinful activities. These great attention may be due to lusty desires. Again, these lusty desires here doesn't mean actually lust. Hmm. Fine. Lusty desires in the sense of having conjugal feelings for Krishna, inimical feelings, fear, affection, or devotional service. Fine. Uh, so there is kama, there is then inimical feelings, dvesha, there is fear, bhaya, then there is sneha, affection, or devotional service, bhakti. Okay. Examples of that in the next verse, Narad Muni gives the examples. Gopiyaha kamad, for conjugal feelings or lusted desires, kama, he says gopis. Bhayat kansaha, out of fear, kansa. Dvesha cha chaitya adaya nripaha. So, for dvesha, inimical feelings, there is Shishupal. Sambandhat Vishnaya Snehat. Out of Sambandha, relationship, or there is Vrishnayaha, the members of Vrishni dynasty. Sneha Diyuyam, out of affection, you, the Pandavas. Bhaktya Vayam Vibho, devotional service, we, including Narad Muni. So he gave these examples, right? By the sadhan bhakti, example is Narad Muni. By affection, the Pandavas. By relationship, the members of Vishnu dynasty. By fear, Kansa. By inimical feelings, Shishupal. And by conjugal feelings, the gopis. Hmm. They all absorb their mind in Krishna completely. Okay, fine. Now, out of these six, though there is complete absorption of one's mind in Krishna, which qualify for Raganuga or which qualify for Ragatmika? Because in Raganuga or Ragatmika also there is intense absorption in Krishna. So out of these six, which qualify for Ragatmika or Raganuga?
The gopis,
The gopis and
the Pandavas,
Pandavas also.
and
Yadu.
why the Pandavas? Hmm? So taking this verse now, who all qualify? Huh?
The Yadus, because they have a family relationship.
Sorry,
Vatsalya Bhav.
They,
The
they,
Yadus.
they were
the Yadu.
devotees. They had full faith on Krishna. Like for everything, Pandavas were looking towards Krishna. Like that story also, no? Arjuna was sleeping and Krishna asked, "You are not afraid?" He said, "I know you are there." Then, so complete devotion,
Okay,
complete.
let us remove those which are for certain not considered to be devotees. Kansa disqualified. Why disqualified? Even for pure devotional service he is disqualified. What was the definition of pure devotional service? Anukuliyena Krishna Anushilanam. Kansa's fear of Krishna was not anukul. So no, disqualified. Shishupal thinking of Krishna out of envy. Again, not anukul, not favorable. Disqualified. Now four are remaining. Gopis are remaining, Vishnus are remaining, Pandavas are remaining, and Narad is remaining. Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakta. Narad Muni disqualified. Why disqualified? Why disqualified? because of being on the path of pure Vaidhi. Then three are remaining: the Vrishnis, Pandavas, Gopis. Pandavas, Srila Prabhupada sometimes accepts, but actually, if you look at very carefully, disqualified. Why disqualified? They are in Aishwarya Bhav, not in Madhurya Bhav. They are associates of Krishna from Dwarka, not from Vrindavan. So Pandava is also disqualified. Then two cases are remaining: the Gopis and the Vrishnis. Fine. Now, if Pandavas are disqualified, how can Vrishnis qualify? Because Krishna used to leave the Vrishnis and go and associate with Pandavas.
Because they have
Does it
got blood relationship.
But blood relationship doesn't matter. Krishna had more affection for the Pandavas than the Yadus. So when you say Vrishni, here Vrishni doesn't refer to the Vrishnis of Dwarka. Here Vrishnis refer to the Vrishnis of Vrindavan. Those who belong to Vrishni dynasty but lived in Vrindavan. Fine. So those people have a relationship with Krishna, Sambandha Rupa. That is one kind of Ragatmika Bhakti. And then there are the Gopis. So out of these 6 examples, Rup Goswami takes only 2 as qualifying for Ragatmika. And then he says one is Kama Rupa, which are the Gopis, and then Sambandha Rupa, which are the members of Vrishni dynasty.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Devaki ji and Vasudev ji also don't come in this category.
No, because their bhakti was mixed with awe and reverence. Wherever there is a mixture of awe and reverence, whether it's the Pandavas, whether it is Vasudeva and Devaki, then that bhakti cannot be called Ragatmika Bhakti.
Prabhuji,
But
meanwhile,
if the reverence goes away, then it may become Ragatmika. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, when he talks about the Pandavas, he keeps them at a borderline. Why he keeps them at a borderline? At some moments, Arjuna knows Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at that time, his bhakti is not Ragatmika Bhakti. But at some moment, Arjuna forgets that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at that time, his bhakti is Ragatmika Bhakti. So therefore, there is pure awe and reverence, which you find in Vaikuntha. Fine. Then there is pure intimacy, which you find in Vrindavan. And then there is a mixture of awe and reverence and intimacy that you find in Dwaraka. You're understanding? So, Vaikuntha is pure Vaidhi, Vrindavan is pure Rag, and Dwarka is a mixture of Rag and Vaidhi. So, when the members of Dwarka, they think Krishna is Bhagavan, and they have some respectful, attitude towards Krishna, awe and reverence. That means the Vaikuntha Bhav has now come on above. And when they forget that Krishna is Bhagavan, then that means pure Rag has come in the forefront. You're understanding? Okay.
Prabhu, Vaikuntha is Vaidhi and Dwarka is Raga and Vaidhi. And what is other one, Prabhu?
Vrindavan, pure Rag.
Well, I have a doubt. Here you are saying gopis are kama rupa, but you explained kama and prema is different. Kama is opposite of prema, but
That is in material world.
yeah,
In material world. In spiritual world, kama and prema has the same meaning.
same meaning.
Because there's no kama in spiritual world. Then material world, kama is not there.
Both are same in spiritual world, kama and prema. And gopis, Radha, they are in the conjugal love, means they are. So this kama, prema is a conjugal. Okay, Prabhu. Yeah.
Next paragraph. The gopis may be considered to be examples of spontaneous love and sexual attraction. The gopis are young girls and Krishna is a young boy. Superficially, it seems that the gopis are attracted to Krishna on ground of sex. Similarly, King Kamsa was attracted to Krishna out of fear. Because Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna because it had been foretold that his sister's son Krishna would kill him. Shishupal was also always envious of Krishna. And the descendants of King Yadu, due to their family relationship with Krishna, were always thinking of him as one of their members. All of these different kinds of devotees have a spontaneous attraction for Krishna in different categories, and they achieve the same desired goal of life. Is it really true? They get the same desired goal of life? Not exactly same. Not exactly same. One thing is that they all get liberation. In that way, it is same. But after liberation, they don't get the same destination. Hmm? Isn't it? Okay. Next paragraph. Ashoka Neja Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. The attraction of the gopis for Krishna and the affection of the members of the Yadu dynasty are both accepted as spontaneous or raganuga. The attraction of Kansa to Krishna in fear and the attraction of Shishupal in envy are not accepted as devotional service, however, because their attitudes are not favorable. Devotional service should be executed only in a favorable frame of mind. Therefore, according to Srila Rupa Goswami, such attractions are not considered to be in devotional service. Again, he analyzes the affection of the Yadus. If it is on the platform of friendship, then it is spontaneous love. But if it is on the platform of regulatory principles, then it is not. And only when affection comes to the platform of spontaneous love is it counted in the category of pure devotional service. There may
Now
be some
see here,
difference.
Srila Prabhupada also does one thing very interesting. Vaidhi sadhan bhakti is also pure devotional service. But actually, if you compare it to Raganuga sadhana, then it is not as pure as Raganuga sadhana. It's like uh, gold is gold. 22 karat gold is also gold. 24 karat gold is also gold. Correct? But if you compare 22 karat with 24, then you'll say 24 is more pure. Similarly, pure devotional service is the definition which Rup Goswami has given in the beginning. Vaidhi sadhan bhakti is also pure devotional service. But compared to Raganuga is more pure. Hmm. Therefore, then he's saying that is pure devotional service. Okay. Yes, Prabhu, next paragraph.
There may be some difficulty in understanding that both the gopis and Kansa achieved the same goal. So this point should be clearly understood because the attitude of Kansa and Shishupal were different from that of gopis. Although in all these cases the focus is on the supreme personality of Godhead and of and all of the devotees are elevated to the spiritual world, there is still a distinction between these two classes of souls. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the absolute truth is one and that he is manifested as impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, Supersoul, and Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here is a spiritual distinction. Although Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan are the same and one absolute truth, devotees like Kansa or Shishupal could attain only to the Brahman effulgence. They could not have realization of Paramatma or Bhagwan. That is the distinction. An analogy can be given with the sun globe and the sunshine. To remain in the sunshine does not mean one has gone to the sun globe. The temperature of the sun globe is different from the temperature of the sunshine. One who has gone through the sunshine in jet planes or in spaceships has not necessarily gone to the sun globe. Although the sunshine and the sun globe are actually one and the same, there is a distinction, for one is the energy and one is the energetic source. The absolute truth and his bodily effulgence are in the same way simultaneously one and different. Hansa and Shishupal attained the absolute truth, but they were not allowed to enter into the Goloka Vrindavana abode. Impersonalists and the enemies of the Lord are, because of attraction to God, allowed to enter into his kingdom, but they are not allowed to enter into the Vaikuntha planets or the Golok Vrindavan planet of the Supreme Lord. To enter the kingdom and to enter the king's palace are not the same thing. Srila Rupa Goswami is trying here to describe the different achievements of the impersonalists and the personalists. Generally, those who are impersonalists and are inimical to the Supreme Personality of Godhead get entrance only into the impersonal Brahman when and if they reach spiritual perfection. The impersonalist philosophers are, in one sense, like the enemies of the Lord, because the out and out enemies of the Lord and the impersonalists are both allowed to enter only into the impersonal effulgence of the Brahmajyoti. So it is to be understood that they are of similar classification. And actually, the impersonalists are enemies of God because they cannot tolerate the unparalleled opulence of the Lord. They try always to place themselves on the same level with the Lord. That is due to their envious attitude. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has proclaimed the impersonalists to be the offenders of the Lord. The Lord is so kind, however, that even though they are his enemies, they are still allowed to enter into the spiritual kingdom and remain in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, the undifferentiated light of the Absolute. Sometimes an impersonalist may gradually elevate himself to the personal conception of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita confirms this. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. By such surrender, an impersonalist can be elevated to the Vaikuntha Loka spiritual planet, where, as a surrendered soul, he attains bodily features, those of the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Uh,
So in these
Prabhuji, one
paragraphs,
clarification. In the
yeah,
last para, it is written, his enemies, they are his enemies. They are still allowed to enter into the spiritual kingdom and remain in the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Now, the undifferentiated light of the Absolute. What does this convey? The undifferentiated light of the Absolute.
undifferentiated means where there's no variety, homogeneous in nature.
Okay, in Brahmajyoti activity, rasa or enjoyment remains the same. One.
There's no variety there. There's no sense of identity. So it's all everything appears to be one there. That's why it's called undifferentiated. Oneness is there.
Okay.
So here in these paragraphs, there's an explanation on though these personalities all absorb their mind on Krishna, and it is said they get the same destination. How exactly it is the same and it is not the same? Because they all get the chance to enter into spiritual sky, same destination. But in the spiritual sky, they get to go to different places, therefore not same destination. It's just like All people going from Mumbai to Delhi in a train are going to Delhi, same destination. But someone in Delhi is going to a five-star hotel, someone is going to the office of the government, and someone is going to his own house, someone is going to this particular place in Delhi, someone is going to some other place in Delhi. So it's not exactly the same destination. Hmm. So here also, they get the same destination because they all get to enter into spiritual sky. But then there is difference. Those who are inimical to Krishna, they merge into Brahman. Mm. Right? But that goal they achieved just because they were thinking of Krishna in an inimical manner. So this verse is explained in this sense that if by thinking of Krishna in an inimical manner you get so much benefit, then why not think of Krishna in a favorable manner? Mm. So anyone who comes in contact with Krishna will get benefited. That's the ultimate conclusion. Whether that person thinks of Krishna as one's enemy or whether that person thinks of Krishna as one's friend, everyone gets benefited. Mm. Okay, any other doubts so far what you have read or discussed?
Rishi, here wherever Raganuga is written, we have to take as Ragatmika.
Not wherever Raganuga is written. At some
Prabhuji,
places where I asked you to
Prabhuji,
mark.
here the attraction of the gopis for Krishna and affection for the members of the Yadu dynasty are both accepted as spontaneous or Raganuga. Here,
Where it is?
the attraction of
Yes.
gopis,
You should, no, that is Ragatmika.
Ragat. Okay.
Mm.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, just small clarification. You mentioned that Narad Muni is also disqualified because he is following Vedic Bhakti. But Narad Muni is always chanting the Lord name of Lord Hari. So chanting of the name of the Lord is like out of love is also comes under Vedic Bhakti.
Yeah. One is chanting the holy name, but then what is the mood of chanting that name? So that mood is defining whether it's Vaidya or it is Raga. Narad Muni is doing bhakti out of a sense of duty towards Krishna, right?
Prabhuji, in most of the cases, then Jivatma is also would be doing chanting the holy name of the Lord out of duty itself. Because if Narad Muni is
Yeah, so that's why when you're talking about a sadhaka, then sadhaka is doing Vaidhi sadhana, no? Not Raganuga sadhana. Vaidhi sadhana, chanting japa out of a sense of duty.
so Raganuga and Ragatmika is going to be a very rare stage for Jivatma.
Eh, It's a very rare phenomenon, yes, because it is only for the residents of Vraja.
Then Prabhuji, why do we say that if we chant the name of Lord, then we'll be getting an option to stay with Krishna, to associate with Krishna, to serve Krishna there.
And so is Narad Muni not associating with Krishna? He's also associating with Krishna, no?
Yes.
is also associating with Krishna.
So what is the difference between like by following the associating with Krishna by following the Vedic Bhakti and Raganuga and Ragatmika Bhakti project?
It is the difference in the mood of seva.
Okay.
Everyone is serving Krishna, whether it is Vaidi, Sadhana Bhakta, Raganuga Sadhana, Ragatmika, someone who has become pure by Vaidi Sadhana, all are serving Krishna. But then they have a difference in mood, how they are serving Krishna. Right? All are servants, but then those servants have a different mood, bhava. One can serve God out of fear, one can serve God out of sense of duty, one can serve God out of some desire, one can serve God out of love. All are serving. But then there's a difference in attitude, in approach, isn't
Guruji
it?
means those who are serving with the Dasya Bhav, they will never enter in Raganuga Bhakti.
There's nothing like this. In Vrindavan also there is Dasya Bhav. But then the Dasya Bhav is based on Madhurya, which means feelings of intimacy or sweetness, you know. And we should know that when you say Dasya Bhav, the Dasya Bhav that we are asked to cultivate is not the Dasya Bhav of Vaikuntha. We are asked to cultivate in general Dasya Bhav, that first of all, let me identify myself as a servant, because we have Swami Bhav, master. Conditioned soul has Swami Bhav. So to become a Vaishnava means to have Dasya Bhav, isn't it? So you first cultivate Dasya Bhav. That's how it is said we should cultivate Dasya Bhav. But then Dasyata of whom? Dasyata of whom? Dasyata of, now if you cultivate Dasya Bhav towards residents of Vaikuntha, so then your destination is going to be Vaikuntha. If you cultivate Dasya Bhav towards the residents of Vrindavan, then your destination will be Vrindavan.
Guruji, we will go there only when we'll have these Raganuga Bhakti or Ragatmika Bhakti, na?
So
Not in Vaidehi.
when we cultivate Dasya Bhav towards residents of Vrindavan, Vraja, that means when we follow the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the acharyas coming in the line of Gaudiya Vaishnavism properly, then naturally practicing Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti and understanding what is Raga. After some time, Raga Nuga will come. That stage of Raga will come.
Okay,
So you mentioned that if we follow the Vrajavasi, then the place is Vaikuntha. But our philosophy is like Dasanudas. Then we
I didn't
have to.
say follow Dasya Bhav. I said if you follow Dasya Bhav towards the residents of Vaikuntha, then you have Vaikuntha as your destination. Like to understand, let's take this example. Whom are we worshipping in the temple? When we go to temple, established by Srila Prabhupada, whom are you worshipping? Lakshmi Narayana.
No, Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna.
and
No, right?
Gopikai.
We're not worshipping Lakshmi Narayana. So we are cultivating Dasya Bhav towards whom? Towards Lakshmi Narayana,
Towards Krishna.
towards Radha Krishna. So then what will be the destination? Where Radha Krishna is,
Yes. But
right?
we are being guided and emphasized to take shelter of Guru. Guru is also uh, who is a
Yeah,
representative
Guru.
of God.
So we are asked to take shelter of Guru. So then Guru also is on a particular path, no? If the Guru is practicing bhakti of that type of Vaikuntha, mood is of Vaikuntha bhav, then the disciple will also go to that destination only. So if you are told you should follow in the footsteps of your spiritual master, so your spiritual master is coming in which line? Your spiritual master is coming in which line? He is coming in the line of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So Gaudiya Vaishnavism means spiritual master is cultivating which bhakti? Nikunja yo no radikeli siddhyai. In Guru Ashtakam, right? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is singing. So spiritual master is either perfect on the path of Raga Bhakti or is practicing Raga Bhakti, right? So then you are serving the spiritual master, following the instructions of the spiritual master. Then what are you doing? Following in the footsteps of someone who is perfect in Raga or practicing Raga? Understanding? Now all of us who are assembled here, we are trying to be followers of whom?
Rupa Goswami,
Look, Rupa Goswami is far-fetched. In
Prabhupada.
general, whom?
Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada,
Srila Prabhupada. So where is Srila Prabhupada coming from?
follow of Vrindavan,
So who is Srila Prabhupada? Who is Srila Prabhupada? Which category? Vaidi sadhana bhakta, pure Vaidi bhakta, raganuga sadhana bhakta, perfected raga devotee. Who is he?
Perfected Raga Hoga.
Perfected, no?
perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't it? Correct? Hmm? So if we are trying to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, whom are you following? A Ragatmika Bhakta or perfected Raganuga Bhakta,
Yes.
right? So then if you are cultivating Dasya Bhav towards towards a Ragatmika or Raganuga, where will you go? Wherever that
Where
personality is, right? Hmm?
Prabhu, here gopis are in Bhava Prema highest level, right? Then why they coming here in the Ragatmika?
Why they are coming here in Ragatmika means?
They are in highest stage Prema level, highest than Ragatmika, Bhava and Prema level, right? Prema level,
What
right?
is what is Ragatmika?
It
They are
is
not Raganuga, no, they are Ragatmika. There is a difference. Ragatmika means perfected. Prema is perfected.
spontaneously.
And when you say gopis, there are two types of gopis, no? One, those who are perfected, those who are practicing. When Krishna came to this planet to manifest his pastimes, there were two set of gopis. One set of gopis, eternal associates of Krishna, coming with Krishna from spiritual world. Another set of gopis who who got a chance, right? For training purpose, enter into Krishna's pastimes, isn't it? Hmm? So those gopis who came as perfected beings, as associates, they are ragatmikas. Those gopis who joined for as a trainee in training, they are raganugas. Understanding?
So
Okay.
can we say practicing Ragatmika is a Raganuga?
You can't say like
Follower
that.
of
Ragatmikas
follower
are
of
pure. So you say just those who are following Ragatmikas, they are Raganugas.
Raganuga.
Practicing Raga Bhakti is Raganuga. Hmm?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sadat Pranam. Prabhuji, how do we understand the Matajis who marry Lord Krishna as their husband? They would fall in which category? I'm just wondering.
Which means the queens of Krishna.
Not the queens. In general, also you find some Matajis in this on this earth. They tend to marry Lord Krishna and make Lord
Like,
Krishna as
give me example.
common Matajis. Like I've seen in Vrindavan, they tend to marry Lord Krishna. So
So,
So, would they fall in any of these categories, Vaidhi, or
so let's say tomorrow you go to Vrindavan and try to get married to Krishna, then in which category you will fall?
not even in Vaidhi? So,
Sahajiyaism.
Sajya.
Similarly, those who are doing that will also fall in that same category.
Okay, Vaidhi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the next paragraph. Next paragraph, Shamala Hariprata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is stated those who have achieved liberation from material contamination and those who are demons and are killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead become absorbed in the Brahman concept of life and reside in the spiritual sky of the Brahma Jyoti. That spiritual sky is far behind the material sky, and it is confirmed also in Bhagavad Gita that behind this material sky there is another eternal sky. The enemies and the impersonalist may be allowed to enter into this Brahman effulgence, but the devotees of Krishna are promoted all the way to the spiritual planets because the pure devotees have developed their spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are allowed to enter into the spiritual planets to enjoy spiritual bliss in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the 10th canto, 87th chapter, verse 23 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas personified address the Lord in this way. My dear Lord, yogis meditate upon your localized future, and thus they achieve the spiritual perfection of being merged in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Persons who treat you as an enemy achieve the same perfection without meditating. The gopis who are embarrassed by your serpentine hands and who have such lusty attitudes also achieve the same perfection. And as far as we are concerned, being different demigods in charge of the different parts of Vedic knowledge, we are always following in the footsteps of the gopis. Thus, we hope to attain the same perfection. By the same perfection, we must always remember the example of the sun and the sunshine. Those who are impersonalist can merge into the sunshine like Brahmajyoti, whereas those who are in love with the Supreme Person enter into the supreme abode of the Lord, Goloka Vrindavan. The lusty attitude of the gopis does not refer to any sort of sex indulgence. Srila Rupa Goswami explains that this lusty desire refers to the devotee's particular attitude of association with Krishna. Every devotee in his perfectional stage has a spontaneous attraction to the Lord. This attraction is sometimes called the lusty desire of the devotee. The lusty is the devotee's excessive desire to serve the Lord in a particular capacity. Such a desire may seem to be a desire for enjoying the Lord, but actually, the endeavor is to serve the Lord in that capacity. For example, a devotee may be desiring to associate with the personality of Godhead as his cowherd friend. He will want to serve the Lord by assisting him in controlling the cows in the pasture pasturing ground. This may appear to be a desire to enjoy the company of the Lord, but actually it is spontaneous love, serving Him by assisting in managing the transcendental cows. Can I continue, Prabhu? Sensual attraction. This
Just a minute. Okay. Thank you. So, it's further explanation on the same subject matter. Prabhupada is just clarifying the lusty attitude of the gopis does not refer to any sort of sex indulgence. Uh, it's basically the desire to serve the Lord in that capacity. Hmm? Fine, that is there. So making it very clear that this has got nothing to do with mundane feelings, sensual feelings. Fine. So now when we are talking about two categories, Kama Rupa and Sambandha Rupa, there is further explanation given. Sensual attraction refers to Kama Rupa. And Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti following in the footsteps of Kama Rupa is called Kama Nuga. Fine. So that is being explained here. Anjali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Sensual attraction. This extremely desire to serve the Lord is manifest in the transcendental land of Vraja, and it is specifically manifested among the gopis. The gopis' love for Krishna is so elevated that for our understanding, it is something explained as being lusty desire. The author of Shri Chaitanya Charatamrita, Kaviraj Krishna Dasa, has explained the distinction between the lusty desire and the service attitude in this statement. Lusty desire refers to the desire to gratify one's personal senses, and transcendental desire refers to the desire for serving the senses of the Lord. In the material world, there is no such thing as a lover wanting to please the senses of his beloved. Actually, in the material world, everyone wants mainly to gratify his own personal senses. The gopis, however, wanted nothing to at all but to gratify the senses of the Lord. And there is no instance of this in the material world. Therefore, the gopis ecstatic love, Prabhuji, for Krishna is sometimes described by scholars as being like the lusty desire of the material world. But actually, this should not be taken as a literal fact. It is simply a way of trying to understand the transcendental situation. Great devotees up to the standard of Uddhava are very dear friends of the Lord, and they desire to follow in the footsteps of gopis. So the gopis' love for Krishna is certainly not material lusty desire. Otherwise, how could Uddhava aspire to follow in their footsteps? Another instance is Lord Chaitanya himself. After accepting the sannyasa order of life, he was very, very strict about avoiding association with women. But still, he taught that there is no better method of worshipping Krishna than that conceived by the gopis. Thus, the gopis' method of worshipping the Lord as if impelled by lusty desire were praised very highly even by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This very fact means that although the attraction of the gopis for Krishna appears to be lusty, it is not in the least bit material. Unless one is fully situated in transcendental position, the relationship of the gopis with Krishna is very difficult to understand. But because it appears to be just like ordinary dealings of the young boys and girls, it is sometimes misinterpreted to be like the ordinary sex of this material world. Unfortunately, persons who cannot understand the transcendental nature of the love affairs of the gopis and Krishna take it for granted that Krishna's love affairs with the gopis are mundane transactions, and therefore they sometimes indulge in painting licentious pictures in some modernistic style. In the other hand, the lusty desire of Kubja is described by the learned scholars as being almost lusty desire. Kubja was a hunchbacked woman who also wanted Krishna with a great ecstatic love, but her desire for Krishna was almost mundane, and so her love cannot be compared to the love of the gopis. Her loving affection for Krishna is called Kamparaya, or almost like the gopis' love for Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Kanvatana.
Okay. So here explanation is given of what is Kama Rupa. Kama Rupa means a strong tendency to please Krishna. Yeah, that is there. Yeah, in a conjugal manner. That is Kama Rupa. Hmm. But here there is proper contrast is given between what is experienced in this world by man and woman and what is experienced by gopis towards Krishna. There's a difference, huge difference. Huh? What is the difference? In this material world, any expression of love is tinged by selfish desire to enjoy. Hmm? Right? So in this world, one devotee was saying, if someone is saying, I love you, basically that person wants to say, I'm lusty after you. Because that love doesn't come with pure motive. Fine. I may I may think my love is pure, but actually it's not pure. Um, I may think my love is pure, but it's not pure. Like to give you a very crude example, the love that the terrorists feel for their country, isn't it? The terrorists will say, we love our country. But then a good citizen of the country will say, you don't know what is love for the country. But the terrorists will say, no, no, I love my country. I can do anything for my country. I can give my life. I can take people's life. I can do anything for my country because I love my country. So a good citizen will say, this is not love. You don't have love. But the terrorist says, no, no, I love. You're understanding? Mm. Similarly, in this world, people will say, I have love. I love this person. I love that person. But actually, when you understand properly, no, that is not love. That's not love. Why? Because there is a desire. There is a desire. What between love? What about love between mother and child? Prabhupada said it is very close to pure, but that is also not pure. Very close to pure. May appear like, oh, this is very pure, but that is also not pure. Right? That is also not pure. Why it is not pure? Because ultimately it is my child. Therefore, I love. Right? My child. So basically, your love is there because your child coming from your body. You kept the baby in your womb for 9 months. So, so much pain you have taken. So, my child. Correct. So, Prabhupada said, that gives you a hint of what can be pure, but actually it's not pure. A hint is there, looks like pure, but not so, not pure. Mm. Right? So pure love cannot be there in material world. Not possible. Mm. It may look like semblance may be there. Like here example is given. Kubja, you know the pastime of Kubja. She was working for who? She was working
Kamsa.
for Kamsa, right? She would provide every day sandalwood paste, chandan paste to Kamsa. Hmm? Isn't it? She would make chandan, supply to Kamsa. Kamsa would use it for his own purpose, decoration. And so when Kubja saw Krishna entering into Mathura, what happened? He was such a handsome boy. So handsome. Isn't it? So handsome. So in her heart, she developed a desire to have some, loving exchange with Krishna. But that loving exchange was based on what? The gopis also may think like that. But the gopis think like that because they want to please Krishna. They want to give pleasure to Krishna. Kubja was thinking, such a handsome boy. Let me enjoy the embrace of this boy. I'll feel nice. I'll feel very happy. So that was for her own satisfaction, isn't it? She approached Krishna. So Rup Goswami is saying, here also there is feeling of love. The love which a girl has for a boy, or a woman has for a man, or a man has for a woman. But then this love is not again completely pure. Though it is directed towards Krishna, but it is not pure because it is not for Krishna's pleasure. It is for her own and her own happiness. She wanted to embrace Krishna, or be close to Krishna. So that's why Rupa says that is called Kama Prayaha. Prayaha means very close to it, but not actually that. Hmm? You understand? Prayaha. Wherever the word Prayaha comes means very close to it, but not actually. Okay. So sometimes you can use this word in this way also. Bhakti Prayaha or Bhakta Prayaha. Vaishnava Prayaha. Bhava Praya means looks very similar, but it is not. So for Mirabai, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said what? Vaishnava Praya. Vaishnava Praya looks very much like a Vaishnava, very close to a Vaishnava, but not actually Vaishnava. So similarly, here he is saying Kama Praya, very close to Kama Rupa Bhakti or Kama Nuga Sadhan Bhakti, but not actually because it was for her own self gratification. Okay. Hmm. Kama Praya. Okay, let's say there is a Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakta. Hmm? There is a Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakta. This is further explained. Of course, we'll continue. So let's continue and we'll understand. We'll further read and we'll understand. Next chapter, chapter 16. Spontaneous devotion further described. Neha Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Chapter 16, Spontaneous Devotion further described. relationship in the attitude of the denizens of Vrindavan, such as Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, is to be found the ideal transcendental concept of being the father and mother of Krishna, the original personality of Godhead. Actually, no one can become the father or mother of Krishna, but a devotee's possession of such transcendental feelings is called love of Krishna in a parental relationship. The Vrishnis, Krishna's relatives at Dwarka, also felt like that. So, spontaneous love of Krishna in the parental relationship is found both among those denizens of Dwarka who belong to the dynasty of Vrishni and among the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Spontaneous love of Krishna, as exhibited by the Vrishnis and the denizens of Vrindavan, is eternally existing in them. In the stage of devotional service, where regulative principles are followed, there is no necessity of discussing this love, for it must develop of itself at a more advanced stage. Eligibility for
Yes,
spontaneous
thank you.
devotional service.
Thank you. Thank you. So here it is said that by Srila Prabhupada that in the stage of devotional service where regulative principles are followed, there is no necessity of discussing this love. Yeah. For it must develop of itself at a more advanced stage. Fine. Therefore, we are just studying Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as a part of Bhakti-sastri course. You should know that, but this subject is not to be so much analyzed by oneself. Uh, First is better we focus on doing Vaidhi sadhan bhakti nicely. Hmm? Then that stage will develop by itself at a later time. Okay. Next, eligibility for spontaneous devotional service. Please read Neha Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Persons desiring to follow in the footsteps of such eternal devotees of the Lord as the Vrishnis and Vrindavan denizens are called Raganuga devotees, which means that they are trying to attain to the perfection of those devotees. These Raganuga devotees do not follow the regulative principles of devotional service very strictly, but by spontaneous nature, they become attracted to some of the eternal devotees such as Nanda or Yashoda, and they try to follow in their footsteps spontaneously. There is a gradual development of the ambition to become like a particular devotee, and this activity is called Raganuga. We must always remember, however, that such eagerness to follow in the footsteps of the denizens of Raja Vrindavan is not possible unless one is freed from material contamination. In following the regulative principles of devotional service, there is a stage called anartha nivriti, which means the disappearance of all material contamination. Sometimes someone is found imitating such devotional love, but factually he is not freed from anarthas or unwanted habits. It has been seen that a so called devotee proclaims himself a follower of Nanda, Yashoda, or the gopis, while at the same time his abominable attraction for mundane sex life is visible. Such a manifestation of divine love is mere imitation and has no value. When one is actually spontaneously attracted to the loving principles of the gopis, there will be found no trace of any mundane contamination in his character. Therefore, in the beginning, everyone should strictly follow the regulative principles of devotional service according to the injunctions of the scriptures and the spiritual master. Only after the stage of liberation from material contamination can one actually aspire to follow in the footsteps of the devotees in Vrindavan. It is said by Sri Rupa Goswami, when one is actually liberated from material contamination, he can always remember an eternal devotee in Vrindavan in order to love Krishna in the same capacity. And developing such an aptitude, one will always live in Vrindavan, even within his mind. The purport is that if it is possible, one should go and physically be present at Rajabhumi, Vrindavan, and be engaged always in the service of the Lord, following the devotees in Vrajadham, the spiritual realm of Vraja. If it is not possible, however, to be physically present at Vrindavan, one can meditate anywhere on living in that situation. Wherever he may be, one must always think about life in Rajadham and about following in the footsteps of a particular devotee in the service of the Lord. A devotee who is actually advanced in Krishna consciousness, who is constantly engaged in devotional service, should not manifest himself even though he has attained perfection. The idea is that he should always continue to act as a neophyte devotee as long as his material body is there. Activities in devotional service under regulative principles must be followed even by the pure devotee. But when he realizes his actual position in relationship with the Lord, he can, along with the discharging of regulative service, think within himself of the Lord under the guidance of a particular associate of the Lord and develop his transcendental sentiments in following that associate. In this connection, we should be careful about the so called Siddha Pranali. The Siddha Pranali process is followed by a class of men who are not very authorized and who have manufactured their own way of devotional service. They imagine that they have become associates of the Lord simply by thinking of themselves like that. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. The so-called Siddha Pranali process is followed by the Prakriti Sahajiya, a pseudo sect of so-called Vaishnavas. In the opinion of Rupa Goswami, such activities are simply disturbances to the standard way of devotional service. Sri Rupa Goswami says that learned acharyas recommend that we follow the regulative principles even after the development of spontaneous love for Krishna. According to the regulative principles, there are nine departmental activities as described above, and one should specifically engage himself in the type of devotional service for which he has a natural aptitude. For example, one person may have a particular interest in hearing, another may have a particular interest in chanting, and another may have a particular interest in serving in the temple. So these or any of the other six different types of devotional service, remembering, serving, praying, engaging in some particular service, being in a friendly relationship, or offering everything in one's possession, should be executed in full earnestness. In this way, everyone should act according to his particular taste.
Thank you, Madhushan.
Hare
Eligibility for spontaneous devotional service. So first of all, Rupa Goswami is saying we should not further discuss Ragatmika Bhakti. Why not discuss Ragatmika Bhakti? Because Ragatmika Bhakti is difficult to understand. How will we understand what is actually the bhav, the mood of Nanda, Yashoda, the gopis, the eternal residents of Raja? We cannot understand. So he defines Ragatmika, leaves the subject matter there itself, doesn't give further explanation. Then he talks about Raganuga Sadhana. Now, before talking about Raganuga Sadhana, he's talking about eligibility for Raganuga Sadhana, eligibility for spontaneous devotional service. Are you eligible? That's what he is explaining. Uh, so, what is the eligibility? Uh, you see, what is the eligibility? He says the eligibility is, first of all, in Raganuga, the basic qualification for practicing is that one should have a very strong desire, natural, spontaneous desire to serve Krishna in a specific relationship. Hmm? A very strong desire to serve Krishna in a specific relationship. Okay. But then one may ask, how will I develop desire and when will I develop that desire? So Rup Goswami says that desire will not come before the stage of anartha nivritti is completed. Hmm. That desire cannot come before the stage of anartha nivritti is completed. Okay. And second, how will I develop the desire? So he says that desire is developed by hearing about the eternal residents of Vrindavan. We're hearing about them. It's not that suddenly one day you develop the desire, I want to become a gopi. No, I want to become a gopa. No, it's not like that. It is something like this, that once your heart has become quite pure, anartha nivritti is crossed, nishtha has come, 50-60% your heart is pure, you know. And now when you hear Krishna Katha, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, then your mind is naturally, automatically going to some particular associate of Krishna. You know, you start liking that associate very much. You want to know more about that associate. Like, to give you an example, you are reading Damodar Leela from, or you are hearing Damodar Leela, and suddenly your mind is going very strongly to Mother Yashoda. I want to know more about Mother Yashoda. I want to hear about Mother Yashoda. I want to know how she dresses, how she cooks for Krishna, what is going on in her mind, and that becomes your constant meditation. Morning and evening, while waking, while sleeping, you're always thinking of Mother Yashoda. Hmm. Right? And then you develop a desire. I also want to serve like Mother Yashoda. That means what? That means what? Now you are ready for practicing Raga Nuga Sadhana. Right? Why? Because you have become attracted to a specific resident in Vrindavan. Okay? But then someone says, I want to become a gopi. Just like that. I want to become a gopa. That is not Raga Nuga. That is not Raga Nuga. You know, that is as childish as, you are in standard 2 or 3 in the school and someone says, beta, what do you want to become? I want to become an astronaut. You're still in standard 2, standard 3. You may say, I want to become an astronaut, but you're still in standard 2 and 3. What do you know about, all that? So some new person, I want to become a gopi. In my mind, I always think like that. But that's not Raga Nuga. You want to follow a specific resident of Vrindavan because your mind is naturally getting attracted. That's Raga Nuga. So Rupa Goswami is saying, Anartha Nivritti has gone. You have developed this tendency. Fine. Okay. So then if I want to follow a gopi who has conjugal relationship with Krishna, then my Raga Nuga sadhan will be called Kama Nuga sadhan. Kama Nuga. If I want to follow a resident of Vrindavan who is serving Krishna in Vatsalya Ras, Sakhya Ras, or Dasya Ras, then my Raganuga sadhana will be called Sambandhanuga. Okay? So Madhurya Rasa, Kamanuga. Vatsalya Rasa, Sakhya Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sambandhanuga. Hmm?
Prabhuji, what is the exact difference between Kamanuga and Raganuga?
Prabhu, I don't know. You don't hear the classes attentively, you are spaced out. I said in the beginning, just like Ragatmika is of two types, Kama Rupa, Sambandha
Okay,
Rupa.
okay, understood.
Similarly,
Yes,
Raganuga is
Agatmika
of
to
two
Ramanuga,
types,
Kamanuga. Yes, I
Kama
wrote.
Rupa and Sambandha Rupa,
Okay.
right? Yes. So when we are
Prabhuji,
discussing technical
that one,
terms, please don't get spaced out. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Please say. Prabhuji, you're on mute.
the last para, whatever we have written eligibility, the Rupa Goswami says that learned acharyas recommend that we follow the regulatory principles even after development of spontaneous love. When we have this kind of love, pure spontaneous love, it is said that all austerities, tapasya, and other things, regulatory principles are not required. So, what
Hmm.
it is taken that they have already been acquired. So what is here the specific significance of recommending that we should continue to have regulatory principles even after development of spontaneous love for Krishna?
Yes, that is there because, first of all, it is given as a warning. You may think you are on the platform of Raga, but what if you are not? Isn't it? So then, if you stop following the rules of the previous stage, what will happen then? Hmm? If you stop following the rules of the previous stage, what will happen then? You will be nowhere,
Right.
right? Isn't it? Hmm? Therefore, it is said you follow. Second thing, you are at that advanced stage, so you have to set a good example for others who are beginners while learning. So if you don't follow the rules and regulations, then they may take that as an example to learn from. So don't do that also.
Can we take that it is to avoid any fall down, even a little
It's
fall
not
down?
just about fall down, Prabhuji. It is also about what is good in general for everyone, how other people will take it, right? As you are making progress in your sadhana or your Krishna consciousness, you can't just think about what is good for you. Then you also have to think about setting a good example for others to follow, right? And third thing, when you talk about regulative principles on the stage of Raganuga sadhana, it's not that they have a disregard for regulative principles. I'm not talking about four regulative principles. I'm talking about all the principles. They don't have a disregard. It's just that because they are so absorbed in serving Krishna in particular mood, sometimes they may forget or neglect. Like to give you an example, in Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, what is the practice? Okay, it's 3:30 a.m. I should somehow other get up, take a quick shower, dress myself, put tilaka, go to the temple to attend Mangalarti. Correct? That's Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, isn't it? Then I don't feel like chanting japa. I'm feeling sleepy. It's very hot, but still you chant japa. That is Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. Correct?
Yeah.
Now you become lazy. It's okay, I won't chant. It's okay, let me sleep till 8 o'clock in the morning. And then you're failing in Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. But there's another example. What is that example? You got up at 2 a.m. and then you're chanting Hare Krishna and you're so absorbed, you forgot that it's 4:30. And you continue to chant. And then at 6 o'clock, you suddenly realize, oh my God, 4:30 Mangal Arati. So you did not break the principle of going to Mangalarti because of laziness, because of indifference, because of non-attraction towards Krishna, because of any anartha. You neglected that principle because of your absorption in doing some other sadhana or some other seva to Krishna. Right? Uh, you're getting it?
Yes, yes, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, this is
But
good example.
but then someone will say, actually, I'm on the platform of Raganuga, and in my dream, I was serving Krishna. So I was sleeping till 8 o'clock. That's why I missed Mangalarti. And I did not chant my japa also. But in my sleep and in my dream, I was serving Krishna. I am Raganuga Bhakta. So that is not correct.
Yeah. Understood.
That's why here Rupa Goswami is saying, you cannot neglect the principles. It may happen because of your absorption in seva, but you cannot neglect the principles.
Thank you. Got it.
Got it, Prabhuji?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That example is clear.
Mhm. Okay,
Hare
next. Yeah.
in this class you said Narada is a Vaidhi, so how come he is a Vaidhi? I mean, Like
We already answered. No, that's his nature. That's how Krishna wants him to serve him. That's
but
how. That's his bhav.
in one class I asked why the sadhana can enter into the spiritual. You said no. Then how?
The Vedi sadhan cannot enter into Golok Vrindavan. That doesn't mean that that person is not a resident of spiritual world. Spiritual world means Vaikuntha also.
Yeah. Okay. He's in
Right.
us.
Mhm.
Okay.
Fine. So then now preparation for Raganuga. So first qualification, what is there? Anartha Nivritti should be crossed. Hmm? Very clear. Second qualification, one should develop a very strong desire towards a particular resident in Vrindavan, following in the footsteps of that resident in Vrindavan. Understanding? That is the second stage. Huh? Correct? That should happen. And then one starts hearing about that resident. Okay. So one should develop a strong greed that I want to follow in the footsteps of such a devotee. Then you begin to reside in Vrindavan. How? If possible, physically, otherwise, in your mind, mentally, you know, in your mind, mentally. Understanding? You know, like, for example, someone wants to follow Mother Yashoda or follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda, then that person should always meditate on Mother Yashoda, on the services of Mother Yashoda, on the dress of Mother Yashoda, right? In the places, on the places where Mother Yashoda visits, huh? So that person should go to Yashoda Kund, where Mother Yashoda is taking bath every day. You're understanding? So that person will then think about that, meditate on that always. Now, either it's by physical staying there or mentally visiting those places. Hmm. Fine. Hmm. Then this is again within the stage of sadhana bhakti. So therefore, it is very clear that it is all to be done as a practice. Rupa Goswami or Srila Prabhupada here talks about Siddha Pranali. We have discussed what is Siddha Pranali process. So he rejects that process. It's a mundane process. Not really correct. Then something very nice at the last in the last paragraph, Prabhupada says there are 9 types of devotional service. Whatever one likes, one should engage in that continuously, practice that seriously. That will bring one perfection. Okay. Now next go to the next topic, conjugal love. Yes, Mataji. If one does not develop desire to serve and follow specific ragatmika bhakta, he is not a raganuga. It's not raganuga. You have to follow a specific devotee, then only you can be raganuga. Otherwise, you are not raganuga. Okay. Next paragraph. Conjugal love. Someone else, please read. Kashinath Priya Prabhu, read.
Devotional service following in footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan or the queens of Dwarka is called devotional service in conjugal love. This devotional service in conjugal love can be divided into 2 categories. One is indirect conjugal love, the other direct. In both of these categories, one has to follow the particular gopi who is engaged in such service in Golok Vrindavan. To be directly attached to Supreme Personality of Godhead in conjugal love is technically called Keli. This Keli performance means to directly join with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are other devotees who do not wish to direct contact with Supreme Person, but who relish the conjugal love affairs of the Lord with the gopis. Such devotees enjoy simply by hearing of the activities of the Lord with the gopis. This development of conjugal love can be possible only with those who are already engaged in following the regulatory principles of devotional service, specifically in the worship of Radha and Krishna in the temple. Such devotees gradually develop a spontaneous love for the deity, and by hearing the Lord's exchange of loving affairs with the gopis, they gradually become attracted to these pastimes. After this spontaneous attraction becomes highly developed, the devotee is placed in either of the above mentioned categories. This development of conjugal love for Krishna is not manifested in women only. The material body has nothing to do. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please scroll it up. The material body has nothing to do with spiritual loving affairs. A woman may develop an attitude of becoming a friend of Krishna, and similarly, a man may develop the feature of becoming a gopi in Vrindavan. How a devotee in the form of a man can desire to become a gopi is stated in the Padam Purana as follows. In days gone by, there were many sages in Dandak Aranya. Dandak Aranya. Dandakaranya is the name of the forest where Lord Ramchandra lived for being banished by his father for 14 years. At that time, there were many advanced sages who were captivated by the beauty of Lord Ramachandra, who desired to become women in order to embrace the Lord. Later on, these sages appeared in Gokula Vrindavan with Krishna advented himself there, and they were born as gopis or girlfriends of Krishna. In this way, they attained the perfection of spiritual life. The story of sages of Dandak Aranya can be explained as follows. When Lord Ramchandra was residing in Dandak Aranya, the sages who were engaged in devotional service there became attracted by his beauty and immediately thought of gopis in Vrindavan, who enjoyed conjugal loving affection with Krishna. In this instance, will you please hold up? In this instance, it is clear that the sages of Dandakaranya desired conjugal love in the matter of the gopis, although they were well aware of the Supreme Lord as both Krishna and Lord Ramachandra. They knew that although Ramachandra was an ideal king and could not accept more than one wife, Lord Krishna, being in fully fledged personality of Godhead, could fulfill the desire of all of them in Vrindavan. These sages also concluded that the form of Lord Krishna is more attractive than that of Lord Ramachandra. So they prayed to become gopis in their future lives to be associated with Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hmm.
Prabhuji, one question.
Hmm. Yes, Prabhuji.
Ramchandra came in Dwapar, Krishna came in Treta. These
Yeah.
these rishis who were there, sages were there. They thought of Krishna. In Dwapar, in Treta, they thought of Dwapar. Means they were well aware of the future things, or means they were.
Lord Ramchandra came in Treta Yuga, which
Yes.
happened before Krishna came in Dwapar Yuga, right?
Yes.
So they did not think of Rama as Krishna. They thought of Ramachandra only. But then, because they developed conjugal desire towards Lord Ramachandra, and Lord Ramachandra in that form, he's Krishna only, but in a different form, coming as Lord Ramachandra. In that form, he does not have relationship with many wives. He has only one wife, Mother Sita. So therefore, the sages of Dandakaranya had to wait for Lord to come in another form, in which he accepts more than one woman.
It means those sages were aware that that
True
hmm,
Krishna's form is eternal form.
okay, and they
When
are aware of the stories of the gopis and Braja also.
why not?
Oh,
Even before Krishna came,
that is
the
yes,
everyone knew about all those things. It's there.
all manvantras and other history.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
okay.
It's an eternal subject matter. They know, you know. Just like Kalki Avatar is going to come, but we know about Kalki because Kalki is eternal, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you.
It's like that they knew. Mhm. And okay, any other question?
Yeah, Ramachandra came. So, Shabari, what kind of bhakti, Prabhu? Like,
Don't know, Madhusha. It's not given. An example is not given or explained. Hmm.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it is just a journal question. Like in a reply to my question, you mentioned about Srila Prabhupada and his mood in Golok Vrindavan. So I was just thinking, like by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, uh, despite being so unfortunate, how like what rare opportunity Srila Prabhupada has given us, like to 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 associate or to serve Srila Prabhupada in Golok Vrindavan or directly Lord Krishna, despite no qualification. But it is very, very, I would say, very, very hard to realize such fortune and to, despite being in the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, to realize that fortune what Srila Prabhupada has given.
Sorry, I did not understand.
So my just it could be my realization or what it is in the reply to what you said that about Srila Prabhupada's eternal position in Golok Vrindavan. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, uh, we also get an opportunity. Like if we serve in the mood of Srila Prabhupada, we can also be. I would say we can also have an opportunity to serve Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. But despite that, it is why it is very very difficult to realize that opportunity or realize that opportunity that how rare opportunity we got by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, correct. That is true. But then the reason for that is we are not properly and sufficiently hearing, you know. It's just like by some good fortune, you got admission in a very good college. You have excellent team of professors, very advanced laboratories. All the resources are there. But then you are not studying in the college. You are just passing your time, going to the canteen, eating samosas and kachoris, pizza party, roaming around with friends, watching movies. So now that is your mistake. No, you got admission into the college. You could have taken advantage of all that is available there. but then you got distracted in doing something else. Right or wrong? So just like that happens in life with us. Similarly, it happens in this scenario also. So because we are not hearing sufficiently, or we are not focused, we are not doing good sadhu sangha, or we are doing wrong kind of sangha. So that's why we have to hear again and again, and hear the right thing again and again, not just hear, but hear the right thing again and again. Therefore, I was discussing with one friend of mine, brahmachari friend of mine, that going to books of Srila Prabhupada again and again is very important, because Srila Prabhupada will bring you back to the basics and also back to the goal. We may associate with many sadhus, we may hear from many devotees, we may read many books, but the capacity that Srila Prabhupada has to bring you back to the most essential thing, that no one has. So we should read Prabhupada books, and those are true followers of Prabhupada, however exalted they may be in devotional service, they will repeat what Prabhupada has said. So that's is very important. It's natural. In this world, everyone gets distracted. Everyone gets distracted. And that's why the only way to protect you from getting distracted or being focused is you go back to the books, you study them, you read them, you discuss that. It's the same thing again and again and discuss, because you get distracted. Anyone gets distracted. So you have to come back to the thing and refresh yourself with that knowledge. But it's very sad, actually, honestly speaking, very sad. Um, Even we all practicing sadhakas, we get so much carried away by so many other things, our duties. I'm in Grihastha ashram, I have these duties. I'm in Brahmachari ashram, I have these duties. I'm living in Delhi, I'm living in Vrindavan, I'm living in Mumbai. I have these things to do, I have those things to do, and I have this, I have that. And then we forget to take out time to go back to the basics and go back to the goal. And then thing is that after some time we get surprised. Oh, why did not I study? Why did not I read? Why did I didn't pay attention to? It's your nature, it's my nature. We are conditioned souls, we forget. Right? We forget. We fall in illusion. So therefore you need to go back to the basics. Very important. Why did Srila Prabhupada make that program? Every day here Bhagavatam class, every day here Gita class. Why? Because he knew that it is needed for us to remind ourselves what is the process, what is the goal, what I need to do. But then we think, no, no, I am a congregation devotee. No, this is not for me. This is for devotees living in the temple. They need to do these things. I am a congregation devotee. I don't live in the temple. So why do I have to do all these things? So, okay, we don't do those things, but then we will also face the consequence of it. Right? We'll face the consequence of it. This is my personal understanding, which I have developed. Most of the members of our iskcon movement, if they start just studying these first 19 chapters of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, they will be forced to sit and think Am I doing the right thing or I am doing the wrong thing in my Krishna consciousness? If they just study these 19 chapters of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu nicely, you know, am I on the right track or did I miss the track? You know, these 19 chapters, if they just do. But very interestingly, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is one of the least read books. Yeah. People don't read Bhagavad Gita. What to speak of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Yeah. It's one of the least read books, but we should read no, again and again. And so much is there, such detailed explanation is there. But we are lazy or we are overconfident that we are going back to God. Right. So that's the problem. And when we get the chance also, we don't take opportunity. Take good advantage of that opportunity.
Prabhu, in this course, we finish only 19 chapters, not whole Nectar of Devotion book, right? We
No,
finish
no.
9.
The next part is not really meant for us to discuss this. That subject matter is quite advanced.
Bhakti-sastri only part 1. Nectar.
Fine. So then further it is explained by Srila Prabhupada that conjugal feelings can be of two types, parakiya and swakiya. Parakiya means you love Krishna as you know the relationship that is there between girlfriend and boyfriend. Without marriage, there is conjugal feelings. So that is in Vrindavan. Hmm? And then there is love between husband and wife. So that is in Dwaraka. Rasa is different. Swakiya rasa and parakiya rasa. Right. So Swakiya rasa in Dwaraka, parakiya rasa in Vrindavan. Fine. Parenthood of or friendship. Next. So this is Sambandha Nuga. Sambandha Nuga. Devotees who are attracted to Krishna as parents or as friends should follow in the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj or Subala respectively. Nand Maharaj is the foster father of Krishna. And out of all of the friends of Krishna, Subala is the most intimate in Rajabhumi. In the development of becoming either the father or friend of the Lord, there are two varieties. One method is that one may try to become the father of the Lord directly, and the other is that one may follow Nand Maharaj and cherish the ideal of being Krishna's father. Out of these two, the attempt to directly become the father of Krishna is not recommended. Hmm? Because when you want to directly become someone, you are not having the mood of a follower. Seva bhav is not there. A competitor mentality has come. Huh? So that is not then considered to be bhakti. Okay. So that should not be there. That should not be there. One should try to follow in the footsteps. Like, I'll ask you a question. Someone tells you, Prabhuji or Mataji, do you have a desire to become like your spiritual master? Exactly like your spiritual master. So what will you say? Yes, exactly like my spiritual master. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
No, Prabhu. Like we can just uh, we can just try to serve like our spiritual master. We cannot become like, we cannot have that
Correct.
mood of that.
So you will, if you are a genuine servant, you will say, I will never like to become exactly like my spiritual master. Why? Because my spiritual master is my spiritual master. I would like to become a good servant like him, right? But I would not like to become like my spiritual master. Why? Because I don't want to steal away his identity. He has his unique identity, and I have my unique identity. Isn't it? So there is no glory in becoming like someone, isn't it? Actually, there's no glory. Yeah? You can learn from that person. You can become a good servant, good devotee. But to say, I want to become like him, actually, in that, there is a feeling of envy or competition. Hmm? Basically, you are trying to take away that person's position, right or wrong, isn't it? Hmm? That person is serving Krishna or pleasing Krishna in a particular manner. Now, I don't want to steal away that position. Huh? So, I would like to follow in the footsteps of my spiritual master. That I would want to do, isn't it? I want to become surrendered to Krishna the way he is surrendered to Krishna. But I don't want to become like my spiritual master. Correct? There's a difference. You understand the difference, isn't it? But someone may also have a wrong desire. Now, I want to become like my spiritual master. uh, so that my spiritual master is getting 1,000 dandavats every day. I will also get, no, isn't it? My spiritual master is very charismatic. I will also become like that. Isn't it? My spiritual master is a guru. I will also become a guru. Uh, So one may have a wrong approach also. So here Rup Goswami is saying that one may have a wrong approach. I want to become Nanda. I want to become Radharani. I want to become Yashoda. No, no. So you have to follow in the footsteps. So becoming like someone, actually, that is not the attitude of a devotee. If you are a devotee, you will never want to become like another devotee. You know, you may learn from another devotee. You may learn some quality from another devotee, but you will never develop a desire, let me become like that devotee or that devotee. No. Why take away that devotee's identity or steal away that devotee's identity? Hmm. So that is wrong desire, or that's a wrong way of, that's not raganuga then, isn't it? Here it is, I want to follow in the footsteps. That is explained. So Prabhupada says that the Mayavadis or monists think that they themselves are Krishna, and if one thinks that he himself has become Nanda Maharaj, then his parental love will become contaminated with Mayavad philosophy. So Mayavad philosophy is everywhere, you know. The Mayavad philosophical way of thinking is offensive, and no offender can enter into the kingdom of God to associate with Krishna. In the Skanda Purana, there is a story. Um, of an old man residing in Hastinapur, capital of the kingdom of Pandus, who desired Krishna as his beloved son. This old man was instructed by Narada to follow in the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj, and thus he achieved success. There is a statement in the Narayana Vyuhastava prayers that persons who are always engaged in thinking of the Lord as their husband, friend, father, or well-wisher are always worshipable by everyone. The spontaneous love for Krishna can be developed only by the special mercy of Krishna or his pure devotee. So now, please make a note of this line. How can we develop Raga Nuga sadhana? Or how we can come to the level of Raga Nuga sadhana? On your own, on our own. No, only by the mercy of Krishna or his pure devotee. Hmm. Just like you needed mercy of Krishna to come to iskcon. You needed mercy of Krishna to get a spiritual master. You needed mercy of Krishna to start chanting 16 rounds. You needed mercy of Krishna to practice Vaidhi sadhan bhakti. Similarly, I need mercy of Krishna or pure devotee of Krishna to enter into Raganuga sadhana bhakti. Understanding? Mercy is required. This process of the devotional service is sometimes called Pushti Marga. Pushti means nourishing and Marga means path. Such development of sentiment nourishes devotional service to the highest standard. Thus, it is called the path of nourishment or Pushti Marga. The Vallabha Sampradaya, which belongs to the Vishnu Swami sect of Vaishnava religion, worships Krishna in the Pushti Marga. Generally, devotees in Gujarat worship Balakrishna under this heading of Pushti Marga. So, from that, the whole tradition of serving Krishna as Laddu Gopal started. Balakrishna, Laddu Gopal, Pushti Marga, Vallabha Sampradaya. Okay. But now that Laddu Gopal worship has become a common thing.
So this Vallabh Sampradaya falls under which branch of the four Sampradayas?
It is under Rudra Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami. Okay, any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Vishnu Swami sect that temple.
Speak it loudly, Mataji, clearly.
Akshadam.
No, Mataji, that is Swami Narayana. Akshardham is Swami Narayana. Swami Narayana is Apasampradaya. Apasampradaya means it's not a bona fide sampradaya. It's a sampradaya deviated from Ramanuja Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya.
So like you mentioned, for everything we need Krishna's mercy, coming to iskcon and starting a devotional life. This time I'm feeling that to clear our CBA exam, we also need Krishna's mercy. Because it is going to be quite tough.
Okay. Yes, we need Krishna's mercy. Vrindarani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, my obeisances. Very often in the Shastras is mentioned importance of guru. That does it always implies to a guru as a person or to a guru as guru tattva? And what is more important for devotee to have guru as a person or to develop attitude of learning from someone?
Both. Guru as a person, Guru as a tattva. If Guru as a person is available, that is the best. If Guru as a person is not available, but you have had some association with the Guru in the past, a living Guru in the past, then you can just associate with the teachings of that Guru. So Guru in person is required. If Guru in person is not available in the present, you should take advantage of Guru's Vani. Right? But then, it's not just Guru. One should also associate with sadhus. Right? Sadhus. So sadhu sangha is always required. Because in the association of sadhus, you will hear Guru Vani. The sadhus will repeat the instructions given by Guru. So in person is the best, and actually one should strive for that, one should pray for that, one should aim for that, one should take advantage of that. Yeah. But if that is not available, then one should take advantage of Guru's Vani. Like Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, he said, I'll be always in my books. Why he said so? Did he say so because he didn't want his disciples to come and meet him? No. When he is not available physically, he is available in the form of his books, in the form of his instructions. So you take advantage. Right? Similarly, if you get a chance to associate with sadhus in your own city or town, in your own society, and that is very good. You can associate with bhaktas, very nice. But if you cannot do that, then you associate with devotees on Zoom platform. Right. So that is there. In physical, it is very nice, but sometimes that is not possible. So then, through the Vani.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so we'll stop here. This course will end in maybe 1 week. 16 chapter is over. Only 3 chapters are left, 17, 18, or 9 and 19. Right now, tomorrow is Narsinga Chaturdashi. So, do you want a class tomorrow? If yes, we'll take. If no, we take next week. Next, if we take a class tomorrow, next Saturday the course will get over. If you don't take a class tomorrow, next Sunday the course will get over.
There is a program
So maybe in the morning
every
we can
local
have.
temple. There is a
Sorry?
program in every local temple.
Yeah, going to the temple. Okay. So then we'll not have, but then next week the course will get over Saturday, Sunday. So then next to next week you will have your exams, right? Anna? And then next to next week is which date? I think it's
24th, 25th.
24, 25. You will have your exams.
Prabhuji,
Fine.
after this course is over next week, can we have 1 week gap to prepare that instead of having very next week?
Prabhu, you already got 2
Yes,
weeks of
we
gaps.
got.
No, these two got, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I already mentioned that you should use this time for preparing, for doing all that.
Okay.
Isn't it? So you'll not get. Why you'll not get? Because after that, the next weekend, I'm starting new batch of Bhakti-sastri from 1st June. Hmm. So I'll be sending the poster and the link today in the groups. You can circulate to the devotees who wish to join the next batch of Bhakti-sastri starting from 1st of June. Huh? In Hindi as well as in English. Fine. And on 31st of May, which is Saturday, 1 day before I start the next batch of Bhakti Shastri, we can have the closing ceremony for this Bhakti Shastri program. Yeah. So it's up to you actually. You want to have the closing ceremony before the written exam? Okay, no problem. So we can have the closing ceremony on 24th of May, which is Saturday. On 25th of May, you can do shloka exam. On 31st of May, you can do the written exam. Up to you. You know, that way also we can do. If you need some more time for preparing, then that is also fine with me. Okay. So I'll post in the group and you can vote. Right. Whatever option suits you. And then we can have by 31st of May, we'll end the course. Okay.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, what few exams which we have missed it, we can give them when you will start the new batch, the unit ones?
Yes, you can give that anytime.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Doesn't have to be
It's
with the
not
new batch
necessary.
only. You
It's
can
not
do that
necessary
anytime.
with the batch, right? We can give We can inform you and then we can give, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Can
So
we also start with the new batch? Like if existing student wants to join the new batch, is it possible?
yes, that is possible. Let me first see how many new registrations are there. Then if seat is there, then one can join again, no problem.
Also, Prabhuji, I have missed unit 2 completely. I have not attended any class.
Yeah,
Which
so whichever units you have missed,
Yeah.
you will have to inform us after this course ends so that we will be whenever we post the schedule for the upcoming sessions of the new batch, and when that unit is supposed to begin, you will have to tell us, Prabhu, I missed my unit 2 in the last batch, so can I attend this batch? So then we will let you in that batch.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank
But
you.
then, as I told before also, once the course gets over, then from my side, I am not going to do any follow-up with you regarding your exam, your shloka test, your assignments, your quizzes. Now you are on your own. On your own means, if you want to complete Bhakti-sastri, you have to take the responsibility. I'm not going to come behind you. Prabhu, your this exam is missing. Mataji, your this thing is missing. Now you are on your own. That
Got it.
means if you want to complete, you complete. If you don't want to complete, no problem. Fine. So now, once the course is over, then there won't be any reminders from our side. This is pending. This is the exam date. Please give the exam. Now it's your wish. If you want to complete it, you have to personally approach us. I'm ready to give the exam. When can I give the exam? Right.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, like we are finishing this course, but like we want to read all the books again. Though I started reading Bhagavad Gita again, but if you are teaching like other kids and we are quietly sitting in the class and listening to the things again, then it is like we are able to understand more nicely the things which we couldn't understand. So is it possible?
Yeah, I said it's possible, but first of all, let's see how many registrations are coming.
Prabhuji, you're muted.
Muted. You can join as a listener, and you don't have to give exam again or anything like that. You just come listen to the classes. Okay.
Thank you.
Fine. So we'll stop here, and so tomorrow holiday, we can celebrate Nrsimha Chaturdashi nicely. Fine. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.